Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. Hope you're well. This is my spiritual channel and I incorporate ways of life. I share all of the wisdom that I believe personally to be true in life. I tell you, share stories. I do share stories, make you laugh, sometimes burst into song. What more can I do? Now, you may notice I have reverted back to the original name of my channel. Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual, and very funny. Allegedly. No, I don't have allegedly in the title. I'm just adding allegedly to make you feel and believe that I don't have any ego at all. Now, I explained in my previous podcast, I had changed the name briefly as I was intending making a few tweaks to my channel. But if I have had one person or 10 people or 20 people saying, what was it called again? What was that new name? What was the new channel? I can't remember the name. I remember Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual and very funny. What was the new? So I thought sooner than repeat it any further, I will just revert back. So anyway, if you look at it now, you may find me under the original name. Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual and very funny. Thank you very much. Now, I'm always saying gratitude and not attitude. I don't want to sound remotely ungrateful. However, if the sunshine and the heat is listening, you are free to go. Now, I have mentioned this over the last few months. I said I don't want to sound ungrateful. I am more of a spring and an autumn kind of woman. I even released an album called the same title. I'm an autumn and spring kind of woman. That one, yeah. Now, which part of summer is continuing and I don't want to sound ungrateful. It's just, I've not really had a proper sleep since maybe the middle of February. It is now the 1st of August, tomorrow. I know, I do show gratitude. It's just too warm. I'm not getting proper sleep. I just feel drained. I do. I'm not even able to speak properly on my podcast because I'm so warm. I know. So if you're listening, sunshine and heat, you are free to go. In my opinion, not forever. No, not forever. You may return next year. I know. I might get my strength back by then. But as of today, you're free to go. Please release me. Let me go. I know. Could you please just go? Even for a few months. You may even return briefly in the autumn. I would just like a few weeks to gather my wits, to maybe get some sleep. That's it. And it's just as they say in Scotland, it's awfully muggy. It's that kind of intense. If you're not in Scotland, maybe you have the same wherever you may be. It is a very intense, muggy, very kind of close kind of heat. You know what I mean? I know, I just call me old-fashioned. I just like to be able to breathe. That's all. I don't ask. I'm not hard to please in life. No, I just like the basics. Allow me to breathe and allow me to sleep. Thanking you. Did you buy my album? My autumn. It's quite funny. I sometimes see things on here and I forget. I don't mean I forget, not in my memory, but it's gone. When I done it, it's gone. So I was out one day, a couple of weeks ago, and I happened to mention, I wasn't even having a conversation because I didn't even know if this person I was speaking to was aware I was doing a podcast. There's nothing to do with podcast in the conversation. Anyway, talking about something, and I happened to that time again go, Sophie Bottom, that kind of thing. And the person sang my song back to me. See, this person burst into, I'm an autumn and spring kind of woman. It was actually quite funny hearing it back. I did. I went all shy. I came over all shy. I thought, goodness sake, that person is now singing my hit song in front of me. So there you go. See, if I promoted it, maybe I should do a juju. Maybe I should do a duet with some big handsome stranger, a big handsome cowboy. That cheered me up. Anyway, how are you all? Are you behaving? Are you good? Talking about that, I've mentioned this in the past. If you've been following me a while, could you please stop? Because I'm going to get the police. If you're a new listener, yes, there are times I may repeat that little one. I quite like that. I have new listeners, I know, and I forget that maybe the first time you're hearing it, you're thinking, what on earth is this? Well, get used to it, because I don't know what I'm saying. It's kind of, a mixture. One day you listen, it'll be wisdom from here to there. Next time, a little bit of banter, a little bit of laughter. Now, We're on planet Earth. I'm sure we're allowed to laugh. Some people forget. Well, I will not forget to laugh. One thing I won't do, I will laugh. This is my motto in life. I will laugh in spite of it all. Keep throwing it at me, and I will just continue to laugh. I will. In spite of it all, I suggest you laugh. Anyway, I mentioned this previously, the technology. Oh, here she goes. Yes, here I do go. Technology, AI, OCHI, all this stuff. And I keep saying, why are so many people following that path? Because it makes my life so simple. And I continue to say, why are you in such a hurry that you have to allow technology to overtake your life? Yes, I did a podcast of this previously. I did. Now, what I'm noticing is, as I predicted last year, people's memory will start to suffer because you're not putting anything in. You don't have to retain any information. If you forget, you just ask that little woman in the machine in the house, anything, as long as it doesn't involve you actually having to look up, a book, anything for knowledge. Heaven forbid, you'd have to store it in your mind. Oh, no, not you. I know. Press a button, the person tells you, and then if you don't need to remember because if you forget, you ask again. Now, I said last year, many people in the future will regret. Regrets. I had a few. I know. No, I haven't had a few. I'm actually teetotal. Thank you very much. Now, my point being, it is coming to pass. I've had so many conversations lately with people saying they're really, they're admitting they can barely remember anything, nothing. Now, it came in conversation a few weeks ago about phone numbers, and I said I remember my number from a child. I don't know why, but I do. I remember my phone number when I was a little Scottish lassie. I still am a little Scottish lassie, but when I was a young child, I must have been only younger than the age of 10. I was in that kind of bracket. Anyway, I still remember the phone number I had in that house. 2891. I wouldn't say exactly where it was, but 2891. How old are you when you only had 4 numbers in your phone number, for goodness sake? 2891? Was that before the war? I beg your pardon. No, it wasn't before the war. But I remember the phone number. Now, this came into my memory the other day. Into my memory, because I have stored it in my mind. Yes, I have a memory to recall, thankfully. This person I was speaking to said someone had asked her for her phone number. They're sharing numbers. It was a work-related. She didn't even know her own phone number. Heaven forbid. I watched as this was happening in front of my eyes. It was a conversation, a group of people. It was kind of work-related. And one said to the other, I'll give you a number. She was going to store it in her phone. Well, I watched the other woman making a right spectacle of herself. Here, wait till I check my phone. She had to check her phone for her own phone number. I know, many of you will be saying, and what is wrong with that? I do the same. Well, I wouldn't be proud of that fact. So she had no word. She could not recall her own phone number, not a jot. Searched and found her number. Then we had a conversation, because it was kind of humiliating for herself, trying to remember a number. No. Then they admitted, because people now have everyone's phone number stored in their phone, you don't have to know a number, you just hit the name, so there's no recall in your memory. Well, heaven forbid, if anything ever happens and there's no phone, if something happens to all the phones and everything, nobody will be able to contact anyone. I'll say, I can't remember anybody's number. Well, I can tell you I do. I remember the landline numbers of people who are no longer with us. I do. I remember them of people who are with us. I deliberately store it in my mind. Although, because if you're depending totally on technology, as I keep saying, the day will come, something may happen. How are you going to, you won't know anything, nothing. Anyway, we moved on from her. We were having another conversation. It was a different person. If it was all the same person, I'd be more worried. No, we moved on from her. Another person was saying, she can't really follow a movie. A movie? What do you mean? Her husband, she said her husband will say, do you want to watch a movie in the house? And she says, the first question she'll ask, how long is it on for? How long is it on? An hour and a half? I don't know, an hour and a half. An hour and a half? Oh, I couldn't concentrate on an hour and a half. Now, this shows you where we've become, the way life has taken us. Now, she admitted, now this is a woman who should know better. A mature woman, a businesswoman, in her late 50s, I know. And she said, I couldn't, not a hope on earth I could sit and watch an entire film for an hour and a half. She said, I did in the past. I used to sit and watch it. Then after that finished, I would say, well, we'll watch another one. Not now. Her memory is short. That's what she said. because now if you get bored and you're online, if you're watching like anything, you're kind of flicking through. If you get bored, you just keep flicking past it. Do you know, this is why I keep my podcast to 15 minutes. I'll probably push my luck for 20. They'll be, hello, empty there. I know you listen to them, thank you. My point being, the concentration. Now, this is another one person that said, her husband, Dad, do I watch a film movie? And she couldn't be bothered. She said, no, I can't, I won't be able to concentrate. Her mind, her memory keeps floating about. Someone else said that their partner in the house didn't want to sit watching a movie with her because she keeps saying, and who's that? Is she the goodie or is she the baddie? Who's that woman in there? Seemingly the family answer, said question. And then 10 minutes later, she'll kind of join in again because she wasn't listening to the answer. She just doesn't really care. She wasn't listening. So about 10, 15 minutes later, is that woman, who's she? Is she the goodie? Is she the baddie? She keeps asking the same question. Husband started to lose his mind. And he said, I don't even want to watch anything with you ever again. I missed the whole thing trying to explain to you who the person is. And we've had this discussion already. Now, this is where it gets funny. At that point, the woman thought that he meant they had watched it a previous day, last week, last month, not realising she'd answered it about 10 minutes previous. So she said, oh, goodness sake, have we watched this already? Oh, well, I don't want to watch it. He said, no, I didn't mean a different day. I'm meaning now, this evening, this very evening. Probably in the last 30 minutes, I've repeated the same answer about 3 times. So she laughed, and I said, why do you keep asking the question? She says, I don't even care. She said, to be quite honest, I don't even care if that woman is the goodie or the baddie. I said, why do you keep asking? I know. She said, I just want to look as if I'm involved. I said, if you're not involved, you're just annoying everyone else. Will you please stop? Anyway, this is where we are. Concentration. People don't want to concentrate because life is so fast, so fast. Nobody wants to stand in a queue. In a queue? I'm just in a queue in a shop. No, self-check. Quick, out. Well, as I predicted last year, and I shall predict once more, your memory will not thank you in the future. If you continue at this pace you're going, you keep staring at your screens, you will even notice, I suggest, if you think about it, your concentration is not even as good as it was this time last week, last month, or last year. Get off the fast track. Remember that life, you're supposed to live in the moment. The whole point of being on planet Earth, you're not supposed to spend your life looking backwards. If you had to keep staring backwards, God or the Creator, whatever name and title you want to give, would have put your eyes at the back of your head if you had to keep looking backwards. No, God and the Creator put your eyes in the front of your face for a reason, because you're meant to be walking forward. I know. If you spend your life staring backwards, you're holding your life back. You will be living in resentment land. You will be living in wallow land. No, thank you very much for the invite. I shall decline. Your eyes are at the front of your face for a reason, to keep looking forward. Now, you shouldn't be looking backwards, and you shouldn't really be staring into the future. You should live in the moment. If you're always looking backwards and frontward, wherever you are, you're missing everything that is around you today. You're supposed to live in the moment. I know. I'm saying this, but there's so many. Do you know that there are people that have maybe lived in certain areas, wherever they're living, a long period of time, some for years and years, and they haven't noticed. If you pointed out different things to them around where they are, they will say, I've not even noticed that before. No, because when they're walking about, they're not concentrating. They're either walking on their own, they're looking in their memory, they're backwards in the past, looking forward in the past, looking forward. Their ears are plugged into something. They're not looking, they're not listening. There are people who have admitted to me that they've lived in their own different places for a long period of time. And if someone points something out to them, they'll think, I've never seen that in my life. I know. Shocking behaviour. Shocking behaviour. Now, I'm here as your reminder. Stop looking backwards. Your eyes are in front of your face. Thank you. And stop looking too far ahead. Can you just live in the moment? You know, as I keep saying, if tomorrow never comes. I'm not going to sing that. No, I'm not, because my new album will be coming out. I'm an autumn and spring kind of woman. Do you know, I think that would be a hit. All I need now is some big handsome cowboy. And I could release a new album. We could do a duet. I could. I might go viral. I need to advertise this more than I'm doing at the moment. I'm going to get a cowboy hat. I quite like country music. Anyway, now I told you it was warm. I know I'm borderline hysterical. I'm just sharing my wit and my banter through my hysteria of the heat. Do you think it might be cooler this evening? Will it be cooler this evening? I've not slept, as I said, since February. You know, I'm not ungrateful. It's 1st of August tomorrow. And I kind of glance, with trepidation in my heart when I hear the forecast coming on. I keep saying, please say it's cooler. What do you mean 92% humidity? I know. The last 2 weeks, I've been checking the humidity. Never mind the weather, what's the humidity? 92%, 89%, 82%. I thought, anyway, on that note, I shall go. Thank goodness for that. Anyway, look after each other. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be full of wisdom. I will. This is just a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, but a reminder in life. And I'll be back on tomorrow with a more serious, enjoyable podcast. Look after each other. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.